Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Eubank Jr and welcome to our post-fight show. Anthony Joshua vs Dominic Breazeale, the post-fight show. Let's get into it. First of all, before I start, big shout out to Sarah Knight, her second professional pro fight. Congratulations to Sarah Knight. Although she won a heavyweight title tonight in her second pro fight. So shout out to Sarah Knight from Fight Night's Gym in Surrey. So congratulations to them. They fought at the York Hall. So Dean Knight and Sarah Knight, shout out to you. Moving on. Anthony Joshua versus Dominic Breazeale. We may as well start from the top of the show because that's what everyone will remember first. Okay, Dominic Breazeale. I think I said to people when I first did my preview to this fight, I said that people were quite critical of Dominic Breazeale coming in. I said, listen, Dominic Breazeale had faced Amir Mansour, and Mansour was one of the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division without a shadow of a doubt. And you know, despite Breazeale taking all them big shots and going down, he still got up and showed plenty of heart. I did say pre-fight in my concerns about Dominic Breazeale. If you looked at the pad work of Dominic Breazeale when he's throwing his punches, even when he was in the changing rooms, the guy that was doing the pads didn't have a clue. And I'll come back to trainers that don't have a clue after this, but his trainer had his pads low down, and somebody's saying, well, how much does that make an effect in the fight? It makes a lot of effect in the fight, because if you're punching always down here and your opponent's up here and you're punching down there, there's a tendency for your punches to go out and not be in range. So even when Dominic Breazeale had a chance to get in range and do something, his punches were going to be going low like this. Now we knew, a lot of people didn't expect Breazeale to go as long as he did, but he has got heart. And but he was slow, ponderous, as everyone expected him to be. So Joshua does the job. He stops the guy in 6 rounds. Am I going to sit here and berate Joshua for that? No, it's another learning fight for Anthony Joshua. But at times Joshua looked pretty methodical. Not a lot of body punching from Joshua. And he started stepping back, backing up. Interesting to see how he would have done against the guy who actually had some pop on him and could punch. Joseph Parker, faster hands, another guy that is not great with defense, but Joseph Parker, he's young, he's hungry, he's adventurous. This will be a very good test for Anthony Joshua. As we know as well, Parker can punch. So he's going to come and he's not going to give a damn. As for Dominic Breazeale, good chin, good heart, lots of guts, came forward. Unfortunately, like I said, when Breazeale comes forward, his offense is his biggest problem, is because when he starts over the punches, he's able to get caught. I wasn't as impressed with Joshua with his countering punches over the top. I thought Joshua was going to step inside when Breazeale was going to be throwing, step inside and throw the right hand down the pipe. Didn't see that from Joshua. He says he's tired. He's been in the gym for a long time. Whatever. As you're moving up in ranks and you're moving up against better opposition, that's the real test to see if you really are a killer puncher or you're just a good puncher. And tonight, Joshua, if you think of how Mansour dropped Breazeale, and you saw the way Joshua hit him and it took him 6 rounds to do the job, you ask yourself the question, well, okay, Joshua with Mansour, who's the bigger puncher here? The question's got to be asked. But congratulations, Joshua, still the heavyweight champion of the world, or the IBF version of the heavyweight champion of the world. As far as I'm concerned, I recognize Tyson Fury as the man in the heavyweight division. Deontay Wilder, the WBC champion, you've got to give him credit. So Tyson Fury, Vladimir Klitschko, Deontay Wilder, and then Joshua can come after anyone after that in terms of what's happened at the moment. So those are my top 4. Ortiz will be in along that mix, maybe 5 or 6 in terms of, because he obviously hasn't got a belt, so I don't really, but he's a legitimate threat, Luis Ortiz. We've got some people in the room. If people are in the room, then obviously I cannot keep barking on. Let's see what people say. Jim Wilson in the room. Good to see you, Jim. Jamie Clapp, not a bad pay-per-view. I agree. The powers that be seem to be trying to launch an agenda against Fury. Check the news, Ingram. They're claiming he used steroids. Well, they're going to do everything they can, no doubt whatsoever. Him and Fury, interesting. Breazeale showed a good chin, but other than that, he offered nothing else. I agree, J1224. Parker would be a good fight. I agree. Jim Wilson would be a good fight. Jim Wilson says, if Breazeale saw AJ's right hand all night, how does he beat Fury, Vladimir, Povetkin, Pulev? Those are questions that Sky Sports team are not prepared to answer or even ask you or even speak to you about. So something to think about there. Pulev would give him a jabbing nightmare, in my opinion. I agree. AJ's still a decent fighter, but he's being manufactured to be the next Ali. It's sickening. Of course, it's sickening, Jim Wilson. But you with Matchroom, Hype Room, Mismatch Room, however you want to call it, they're manufacturing a heavyweight there. And for me, my concerns with Anthony Joshua is the things they're saying and putting out that he's the best heavyweight in the world. No, he's not the best heavyweight in the world. He could potentially be the best heavyweight in the world, but the way he's training and fighting at the moment seems very robotic. All his punches seem to be coming out like a robot. Similar sort of punches. Yeah, he's fairly quick. But as you saw tonight, a guy who has a little bit more football movement and can start moving their head around a bit. Joshua didn't look as impressive. And as he moves up against a Fury or a Wilder or Klitschko, they're not going to stand there and let him throw them punches. And trust me, they will land their punches back and they will hit and they will hurt Joshua. So those are things to consider when you're balancing things out. Let's see what's going on here. Robin Red Carp Fishing says Parker will get ironed out. Will he? We'll have to wait and see. Parker will not stand there and take blows just like that. He will fight back. AJ has a good work ethic, training, etc. It's good. Sakami Deck. Oh, very, very funny. 474 says, what about Hay? What about Hay? He's fought nobody credible since he's come back. He's now fighting the 40+ Shannon Briggs next. Let's see how he does against Shannon Briggs. It's a shame that we're talking about Shannon Briggs, the 40+ man, but if Briggs lands one on David's chin, we'll know where Hay stands in the heavyweight division. Do you think Tyson Fury can take those hits, says Benai Johnson? I don't think, first of all, Fury's arms are much longer than Breazeale's. Fury's got better footwork than Breazeale. Fury's got better hand speed than Breazeale. Fury ties up better. Fury knows distance and timing much better. Fury's not going to stand there and get hit like that. So I don't think that Fury, different timing, experience, I don't think so. I don't think Joshua's as good as Vladimir Klitschko. And Vladimir Klitschko found it difficult to hit Fury. And Vladimir Klitschko, as cautious as he is, he doesn't want to get himself knocked out. So I don't think so. Hay would give AJ a run for his money. What you're looking at there with Hay, I think, is speed, timing, movement. He's going to have to, if Hay fights Joshua, he's going to get back to the days when he's like 15 and a half stone max. This bigger version of Hay is going to get nailed. So he needs to be back to that lower weight, lighter weight for speed and mobility. He'll make Joshua miss and then make him pay. And all he'll take is one from David. And then the follow-up will be explosive as always. Ruben Caddick, those hits wouldn't down to AJ, mean Fury. Yeah, I mean Fury for F's sake. AJ's Frank Bruno Mark II. I've said it. I keep on saying it. But not a lot of people want to listen to me about it. They laugh at me. Parker v. AJ is a good fight. Good evening, Black Klitschko on the way. Sam Pickett says Parker v. AJ is a good fight. I totally agree with you. Jordan Wright says such a shame Fury fight postponed. His Joshua fight will now not be this year. Agreed. I don't know if that's actually true, whether Joshua and Fury are going to fight this year. I think it's because Fury now is not fighting. Is that now he can make that statement? If Fury were fighting Klitschko, I'd like to know whether he really wanted that fight. But I'm sure next was on the list was either Molina, Stiverne, or Joseph Parker, the mandatory. So I ain't so sure about that. I think Wilder flattens him out. 60-40 for Wilder, says Jim Wilson. AJ could have still ironed him out. It's funny how we have two champions who are still untested. I agree. It just tells you the way boxing is going today, where it's not about the best fighting the best. It's about the best avoiding the best and fighting whatever else they can fight. And I think the new market is now marketing to the casual audience. If you market to the casual audience, you can keep your fighter going a little longer because the casual audience will take any garbage you tell them and they'll accept it. Hardcores like us, who are who are aware of certain things will say Dominic Breazeale, lots of heart, lots of guts, but nobody expected Breazeale to win the fight whatsoever. So nobody can tell you now that Breazeale is a world beater. So Sky Team may tell you that, and the casual agenda might tell you that, but hardcore boxing fans, who's clued up about a bit of boxing, will not believe that for 1 second. David Hay getting jealous. The Joshua says JB Clapp, possibly. Fury's the man with Vlad second. Yeah, I agree with that. Laugh my head out. I love the way you said my name. I won't be saying it again. 474. What about Conor versus Mayweather? Oh dear. I hope I didn't read that. I really hope I didn't read. What about Conor versus Mayweather? Is that happening anytime soon? And who do you think would win? Mayweather. Ruben Pekadik. Benai, he did turn up. He just got outboxed. Klitschko versus Fury, not to compromise fighters, or not composed fighters. Iftikhar Mohammed. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Has the fight happened? Yes. Thurman is tough. He could take AJ late rounds. I agree there. Let's see. There's a lot of people in the room at the moment, so I'm going to try and get through you quickly. Zoroaster. Joshua will seriously struggle against someone who can actually punch on target and punch hard. Dominic was a punching bag. I agree with you there. Jim Wilson, I'm not sure about Thurman. Now he's getting older. He's more accomplished than Joshua. I agree. Joshua versus Breazeale. Fighting is fit. Yes. Zoroaster says, if only you could punch back. Robin Red Carp Fishing says, don't underestimate Fury. I don't. He's the #1 heavyweight in the world for me at the moment. Iftikhar Mohammed says, only fighter that can cause problems to Joshua is Wilder. I disagree with you there. I think Povetkin could give him problems. I think Pulev could give him problems. I think Thurman could give him problems. I think Brian Jennings can give him problems. Anybody who's going to give Joshua movement, head movement, and people who've got lateral movement, who don't move in straight lines, who've got pick up their feet and move, are going to give Joshua problems. Even when he throws that right hand, you watch how Joshua throws his right hand. He throws it and he doesn't follow right through it. He throws it and pulls back. Watch the way he throws it right. He pulls back. He doesn't go right through it. There and pulls back. Watch him carefully. So I don't think Joshua against a moving target. He's not very good against moving targets. If you look at this fight against Jason Gavin, in fact, moving target, not great, but moving target. You had Breazeale. He didn't stand there. He was moving. Then Joshua couldn't land clean on him. I think Breazeale was worn down as opposed to one-punch knockout power there. Something to think about and consider. Fury's a genius for pulling out, walking apart for Mayweather. Damn, I missed it. Parker versus Wilder. Good fight. Knew Joshua would beat Breazeale, but didn't see it go in 7 rounds. Breazeale lacked heart. Something Martin Murray lacked. LOL, says boxing enthusiast. Good evening. Jim Wilson reminds me of the Liston rematch. Jim Wilson, he postponed when Liston was in his best trading gap. Very interesting. Jason Garber says, when AJ used his jab, it was very snappy. Needs to use it a lot more and have a better variety of punches instead of just straight punches. I agree. Hi, I'm new here. I don't know when is the match. The match is over. And if anyone wants to root for 23, then please go ahead. Yas Ali says, Joseph Parker. Fury fight still had 7,000 tickets. Not sold. That's bad. Says bad Klitschko. Black Klitschko, sorry. Jim Wilson, I can tell Vlad had been training since January. So this pullout is clever mind games. Big up Fury. Agreed. Free Khabib, good evening. Says Breazeale was stiffer than a porn star's cock man. Couldn't move. 23s, can you tell me time of the match? Yes, 2 a.m. in the morning, UK time. 10 p.m. US time. Versus Porter. Please, there's the time. How do you think Joshua will do against Ortiz? Not very good. Joseph Parker, real deal. UD, I agree with you. Yasser Ali. Joshua missed a lot of shots. I agree, Joseph Parker. Fury will play into Play with the kids, says Jim Wilson. I'm going to move further down very quickly. Sorry, some guys, I'm just going to move down because there's so many of you in the room here. Let's go up here now. I bet Boxing Enthusiast says, I bet Josh's next opponent will be Washington. That's what I was thinking, LOL. Hearn likes them untested Americans. Ben I says, why don't Sky or any major outlets talk about how GGG dodges Andre Ward and then they make him out as big as I am, as big as I am, Eubank? Okay, Josh just seems very one-dimensional. Parker will bring it to him. I agree there, Matt Berry. Totally agree with you. Santos Rosa FC Gamer, who won? Was there a knockout? I won't tell you. I'll let anybody else tell you. GGG is 2 weights lower than Andre Ward. Okay. Ben Stapleton, every man in there needs some punani. Where are the... Okay, right. Moving on swiftly. Jim Wilson says, can you get a new Peterview interview with you, Ingram? Great Ali Bashir interview the other day. Yes, James Ali Bashir, the assistant trainer to Klitschko. I've got more of that interview I shall post up about. He's the trainer to Alexander Usyk and the assistant trainer to Vladimir Klitschko, talking about Muhammad Ali and his experiences with Muhammad Ali. So check out that interview that's there as well. Thurman, Porter, a proper fight. Mishmatch rooms are awful. Bunch of big names versus tomato cans. If Hearn had Porter and Thurman, he would charge us 50 quid to watch it. I agree with you there. Iftikhar Mohammed says Joshua did what he needs to do. He didn't need variety against Dominic. Well, you like to see variety for 7 rounds. You like 6 or 7 rounds. You want to see what the guy can do. Showcase your talent. That's what you do. Didn't see much of a showcase. If Parker can tie his defense, he will probably knock out AJ. Agree. Sam Pickett says, I've subscribed. Like this channel. Shout out to Sam Pickett there. Thank you for that. Can Eubank beat GGG? Eubank leaves too many holes in his game. He leaves too many holes in his game. The best thing about Chris Eubank Jr. against Gennady Golovkin, and a lot of people will not admit it, is the uppercut. The uppercut he is weak to the uppercuts. His style is the way he boxes. Gennady Golovkin is perfect, tailor-made for uppercuts. But Eubank's defense is terrible. He gets caught with stupid shots, pulling their head back. When you do that nonsense against lower level opposition, that's great. That's fine. But when you're doing it against a guy who's unbeaten himself and has the power to take you out of one shot and turn a fight with one shot, that nonsense doesn't work as well. And Eubank's going to find out. You tell me one fight that Eubank has fought somebody who's got world-class punching power. Now, I don't know anybody who's fought who's had world-class punching power. You've had Spike O'Sullivan who had domestic punch power, but world-class punching power where they've knocked out top quality opposition. I think you've got to say Gennady Golovkin, you know, because he's a little bit more on him. So it's very important. I think it's very, very important here. I'm going to move on because I'm going to try and stay on the fights. I will come back to Gennady Golovkin and Eubank. I do want to get on to the fights I have tonight. Next on the bill, Chris Eubank, Doran, listen to me. Let me get something straight to you people now. And first of all about Chris Eubank Jr., right? You can look stunning and fantastic and great against Doran. And personally, I didn't think Eubank looked great against Doran. He looked good, didn't look great. Reason being, if you saw Luke Keeler versus Chris Eubank Jr., right? If you look at the way that fight was, right? Luke Keeler, Doran, the way Doran went over in the first round, he looked like he's going to get knocked out in the first round. I thought Eubank Jr. was going to go out there, boom, and put it on Doran. Didn't do that. Took him 4 rounds to get rid of Doran. All right? And for me, if you're talking about fighting Gennady Golovkin, you need taking these guys out, boom, round 1, round 2. Not 4, 5, 6. Playing around tonight, you really want to be playing around? You want to be sending a statement to Gennady Golovkin. Listen, this is it. I'm taking my guys out. Brutal. Like, no messing around. So he could have finished that fight in round 2. So for me, I wasn't happy with the performance. If you're talking about Gennady Golovkin, the #1 middleweight in the world, if you talk about that, if you're talking about fighting, I don't know, See, I would like to see Eubank fight 2 fights. I'd like to see him fight in the middleweight division. Or 3 fights, actually. I'd like to see him fight Andy Lee, because you know Andy Lee can punch, but not much more. I'd like to see him fight David Lemieux. He can punch, can't box. And Gabe Rosado. Tough, strong, rugged. Them 3 guys. I would like to see how he does against them 3 guys. And then talk about Gennady Golovkin. Don't talk about Gennady Golovkin when your last fight was Tom Doran. Tom who? Is that? I never thought that Tom Doran was the gatekeeper or the door that opens for you to fight Golovkin. Sorry, that makes no sense to me. I mean, if you're going to fight the #1 guy in the middleweight division, I mean, that to me, that don't make no sense. But anyway, I don't get it. I don't understand. So, I don't know. We can move on about that. Okay, so Eubank, they've been playing tonight. But if you talk about Gennady Golovkin, shouldn't be playing. Moving on to the next one. George Groves versus Martin Murray. 3 things. First of all, Martin Murray coming up from middleweight to super middleweight. George Groves has yet to knock out a world-class opponent. So he fought Martin Murray, who was, we didn't know if he was a genuine super middleweight or blown up super middleweight. Let me explain something to you now. If that was a genuine super middleweight there who could punch, George Groves' career didn't finish tonight. It wasn't, and he's fortunate because Martin Murray had done nothing at super middleweight. People are talking about George Groves like, oh, great performance from George. He's brilliant. He's back. No, he's not back. He's not back. It's an illusion. He's not back because when he fights somebody who can actually dig in the super middleweight division, leave his chin up in the air, he still was tiring. But again, we go back to Martin Murray and his terrible trainer. His terrible trainer. Oliver Harrison must be the worst trainer in boxing by an absolute country mile. I've seen, you know, Martin Murray should be world champion, should have been a world champion. But I think Oliver Harrison is terrible. If you listen to his game plans, what was Martin Murray doing? I mean, I thought, okay, first couple of rounds, you do a scouting mission, now look at George Groves. But to me, I would like to see I would like to see Martin Murray catch and shoot. So when George lands, you land as well. When George throws, you throw as well. That's what I'd like to see. So I saw him trying to close George down, but he didn't work him. He didn't when he got into ropes, work him early. Didn't do anything. Didn't push. Didn't push anything, you know, didn't push anything. He just allowed George to pick up the points, pick up the points. It was almost like watching Scott Quigg versus Frampton. I don't understand what Oliver Harrison's game plan is. He had a garbage game plan when they went and fought Abraham. He said, let's get Abraham about in Abraham's backyard. A terrible game plan. Don't know what the game plan was against Gennady Golovkin. Don't know what the game plan was against Sturm. And against Martinez, I mean, he had Martinez there to be beaten. So he is terrible. He is the worst trainer in boxing. I'm telling you. And it's so important you need to have a good trainer in your corner. If he had a good trainer, it'd be all right. It'd be all right, you know? It'd be okay. But the fact he hasn't even got a good trainer is so important. And that's I think, is the reason why, that is the reason, in my opinion, why Martin Murray has not been a world champion at middleweight. Absolutely shocking trainer, and Martin Murray needs a slap in his face. What are you doing? Can't you see that it's your trainer that's making you lose the fights? It's his trainer. Can you imagine if Martin Murray had a trainer like a John David Jackson or a James Bashir or I don't know. I think he'd even be better under, what's his name? Crowler's trainer, Joe Gallagher, or even a Peter Fury. But this guy is terrible. He's got a terrible trainer. And that is the reason why Martin Murray is not where he should be. Terrible trainer. As for George Groves, if somebody can explain to you what that is, I have no idea what that is. I've got no idea. Because any world-class fighter is going to step inside and somebody's going to do it, step inside and crunch. You watch what he was doing that all the time. Every time he was doing that, Murray was able to come over the top. He was open to get caught with shots over the top. This is something that McGuigan's teaching him. I don't know what it is, but it is definitely going to be, I guarantee you, it will be a highlight reel somewhere in the world. At some point, somebody who can bang is going to catch George Groves doing that crap over the top, bang. Sorry, terrible. So I don't rate McGuigan as a trainer because I don't think he's done anything, and what he's done with George Groves, sorry, no. Moving on, Conor Benn. They're saying he's improved. No, he's not improved. Conor Benn should not even be fighting on the card, in my humble opinion. Shouldn't be fighting on the card. Only reason why Conor Benn is fighting on the card is because of his father. That's it. But, you know, those are my thoughts on that. I don't think Conor Benn personally is that good. And that guy he fought tonight, I mean, they said he's improved. But how do you know somebody's improved if you chin a guy in the first round who, okay, going into this fight, the guy he fought had already got chinned in a round. So Ben comes in and knocks him out of the round. But the fight before that, he went the full 6 rounds or 4 rounds, I don't know. How is that an improvement? Oh, he looked more composed. What? To fight a guy that, and again, Conor Benn keeps getting caught with the same punches over and over and over again. Conor Benn has got another one, a shocking defense. And when he fights anyone moving up, I'd be, if he gets to the British Championship, he's done a lot. His defense is shocking. Pulls straight back from punches, pulls back with his hands in the air. You know, takes too many punches. Even that guy who he steamrolled in a round still caught him with shots. Shocking. So Conor Benn, question mark. Lovely guy, media savvy, question mark on his actual fighting ability, and should be fighting on Sky Box Office. I don't think so. To the side. Next up, Dillian Whyte, the body snatcher. Anything but a body snatcher tonight. Dillian is media savvy. Dillian Whyte talks a lot. Dillian Whyte is good for boxing. I just wish Dillian Whyte could actually, if he was as sensational the way he talks as the way he boxes inside the ring, he'd be fantastic. But he looked absolutely terrible tonight. But I think it's the first fight back and we shouldn't be too critical of him. But there's something I'm picking up about Dillian Whyte, is that Dillian Whyte cannot fight good against movers. Another one, like Joshua, doesn't like guys who can move, doesn't like movement. He likes a guy, see, Dillian Whyte's going to look good against someone like Chisora, because Chisora will come forward, bundling forward, slow footwork, head there. Dillian Whyte can look great. But Dillian Whyte does not look good against guys who are light on the feet and then can move. Anyone who can move against Dillian Whyte and has got a good jab and can move, forget it. Dillian Whyte, forget it. Dillian Whyte is terrible. And I don't know if Matchroom are setting Dillian Whyte to look terrible in his fights, but it's the second fight he's had. Brian Minto, he looked terrible against Brian Minto, and this fight he looked terrible as well. Fight against David Allen, be a great fight for Dillian Whyte because Dave Allen comes forward. If he gives him some movement, great. But Dillian Whyte, again, Hugh would give Dillian Whyte a lot of problems, because you've got to ask yourself the question, Hugh's not going to stand there and let him hit him. Hugh's going to stand on the jab, moving, using the jab and moving and jabbing and moving. You know, so I don't know how good Dillian Whyte is. Always talk about him being a world beater. I think we've got a hold on that. Let's see how Dillian Whyte does against, let's see Dillian Whyte against Amir Mansour. Let's see Dillian Whyte against Brian Jennings, Bermain Stavern. You know, let's see him against them kind of guys and see how he does. I never wouldn't see Dillian Whyte versus Eddie Chambers, because that's a bad fight, you know. So those are my thoughts on Dillian Whyte. Good to see him back. Need to see him fighting regular. He's injury prone as well. I hope that he's gotten over all his injuries now and he can fight more regularly. Will he become a world champion? I can't see it, to be honest. I can't see it. I really cannot see it. But I hope Dillian proves me wrong. because he's a nice enough guy. Let's see what people got to say. Let's see what people are saying. Right. Boxing enthusiast. Jim Wilson asked Dillian Whyte. I say what I'm talking about now. Boxing enthusiast says, I thought Dillian looked poor tonight. Took the words right out of my mouth. J124, Whyte looked average. Jim Wilson said Whyte looked awful. Leo Donald, good evening, Lee. Hope you're well. AJ, good morning, actually. AJ's jab has improved, but needs more variety. The guy was a cruiserweight. Who said that? The guy was cruiserweight. Dillian was awful. Yeah, I know, says Jim Wilson. Looked like a pub brawler, said Jim Wilson. Trade It says Dillian Whyte is the strongest. Hey, he might be. Jim Wilson says Whyte and Allen look a 50-50 fight now. Mr. Wavy says ... Okay. Boxing enthusiast says Hugh would cause Dillian Whyte all sorts of problems. Talked about it earlier. I mean, just the footwork alone. Whyte makes AJ look worse now. It's his best win. Oh, dear me. Mr. Wavy says, how do you work that one out, Jim? Boxing would have thought it would have been the golden boy AJ. I like Whyte, though. I hope he becomes a world champion. I do too. He's going to have to do a lot of work. Let's hope Tibbs can sit. Is it Tibbs he's with now? Or Sims? I don't know which one, but whichever one it is, one of them two, the experienced guys, let's hope they can turn Dillian's career around. Jim Wilson, Wavy, Hugh's a mover. Keep him on the jab. I agree with that, Jim Wilson. Trade It says Whyte will defeat Klitschko. Maybe on PS4 he might defeat him, but I don't see him. Whyte beat. He gets hit too often. Moves in straight lines. He'll get lined up with a jab, and Klitschko's big right hand. I can't see it. I think Whyte might turn it to Chisora Mark II. That's what I'm seeing there. I'm seeing a lot of that. I was thinking that tonight, actually. Billy Bicep says, good evening, Billy. Hearn will keep feeding Joshua Sits like he has with Kell Brook. There's no reason why he wouldn't. I'd have to agree with you on that point. He's with Mark Tibbs. I agree. Whyte, Huey would look like the Catty fight. Yeah, I think so. Possibly. Trade It. Are you okay, mate? Trade It says, hello, I'm messing. Yeah, I know you're messing. Cool. Exactly. But he might be on PS4, though. Okay, so I think we've got through most of... Is there anything I've missed out on tonight? I think I've gone through the list. Martin Murray could have beaten George Groves tonight, but he's shocking trainer Oliver Harrison. That guy is terrible. He's terrible. If I ever see him to his face, I'll tell him, you're the worst trainer I've ever seen in boxing. I'll tell you. Iftikhar Mohammed says, don't these guys train all the time, or do they train before the fight as they looking chubby or fat? Well, look, I think if you look at Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, those are two examples of guys who weren't body beautiful, but damn, they were great champions. Okay, I don't think that you have to look at body fat, but especially the heavyweight. That does not refer to somebody being a bad fighter. So I can't really. The boxing game is smoke and mirrors. The big names sold to the public, AJ Whyte, Wilder, etc. We have no idea how good they are. Carefully managed. Whyte's best win is Minto. AJ's best win is. I know you'll bang on there, Jim Wilson. And remember, boxing is now going towards the casuals. In my opinion, I think boxing is definitely moving towards the casuals. There's no doubt in my mind that boxing is very much the managers, promoters, and even the fighters. Look at David Haye and his career now. He's fought two guys that he probably would have faced at the first three fights he had in his professional career are guys that he's facing at the moment, sort of caliber he's facing. So ask yourself the question: do these boxers give a damn about the fans, or are they more interested in catching the casuals? That's the question you got to ask yourself. You've got to ask yourself, Eddie Hearn, does he care about me and you who care about boxing, or does he care about making a fast buck against casuals? And you know what the answer is there. Haye versus Joshua, tasty. Well, it's tasty on PS4. Whether it's going to happen or not, Joshua will beat Fury easy. Fury would not cope with Joshua's power. But Fury was able to stop Klitschko hitting him on the chin often. Don't know how that works. Daniel Gibson, but good evening anyway. But Billy Bison, Eddie Hearn's a lying twat. Ben Stapleton, I would definitely get the pay-per-view, next pay-per-view, if it was Anthony Joshua versus Papa Shango. No. Wasn't his next fight? Did Carl Froch, I don't know if he's been sarcastic or not, but he said that on IFL, he said, they asked him, who would you like to see Joshua fight next? He said Peter Parker. I thought he was meant to say Joshua Parker, but Peter Parker was amazing. So Anthony Joshua versus Peter Parker next. Trady says, I agree, Ben. Hearn said that if Vlad beats Fury, they will be looking to fight Vlad. Vlad would KO Joshua with the left hook in brutal fashion, just like the Pula fight. He's too stiff. I agree, but there are fans on here that are sold into the Joshua's the best heavyweight in the world, according to Barry Hearn. Let me give you some history about Barry Hearn. Barry Hearn believed that Herbie Hyde was the best heavyweight in the world. He believed Herbie Hyde could beat Lennox Lewis. He believed Herbie Hyde could beat Riddick Bowe. He believed Herbie Hyde could beat Vitaly Klitschko. Now go back and watch the tapes of Herbie Hyde versus Riddick Bowe and Herbie Hyde versus Vitaly Klitschko. Watch those two fights. And this is the best heavyweight in the world. If you're managed by the Hearns, you're the best thing since sliced bread. Remember that. Even if you're not, you just are. That's the way they sell you. I remember once going way back, Gary Mason was one of my favorite fighters. And I remember Barry Hearn saying, we've got Jess Harding, and Jess Harding's going to knock out Gary Mason. Gary Mason destroyed that boy in 2 rounds. If you can get the tape, check it out. Eddie and Barry Hearn is full of it, absolutely full of garbage, right? But these, they're celebrities with Eddie Hearn and the whole charismatic thing. Listen to what these people are saying. Get your common sense out and say, well, listen, this guy trying to promote to me, or is he trying to lie to me? Eddie Hearn's a liar, point blank. Remember when Eddie Hearn said that he said Carl Frampton was the best super bantamweight in the world, and as soon as Frampton left him, he said he'd knock out Scott Quigg, and then now when Scott Quigg joined him, what did he tell him and say? Oh, Scott Quigg is the best super bantamweight in the world. He'd knock out Carl Frampton. Eddie Hearn will say what he wants to say. Doesn't care about the fans. Really doesn't. So that's my thoughts on that. Eddie Hearn. Not interested in the fans. And I can't remember the last time I saw Eddie Hearn. Have you seen Eddie Hearn be pushed in an interview where somebody's confronted and said, listen, mate, you're lying. You're lying to the fans. Your agenda is about meeting the casuals. Your agenda, your marketing strategy is about meeting casual fans, people who work in the city that don't have a clue about boxing, that just want to go out for a good night of drink and, socializing. They don't give a damn about reading the boxing, who's fighting. They just want to be part of the event. They're the type of guys that will turn around and tell you, oh yeah, Joshua's fighting tonight. Do you know when Joshua's going to fight Mayweather? That sort of fan. That's the sort of fan that they're, the matchroom are focusing on. So just bear that in mind when you listen to the garbage that comes out of their mouths. Jim Wilson says, Jim Johnson says, I think that AJ is actually underrated, and it's all because the opponents he has faced. Okay. Mr. Wavy, Vlad knocking out Joshua. Are you serious? No, I didn't say that. Jim Wilson says, boxing is all about keeping the O and the A side, then cashing out when they faced facing a test. Hardly any real fighters left their boxing businessmen controlled by pros. I totally agree with you there, 100%. Did you know, as Joshua gave interview, how he is clean athlete, being drug tested a few days ago? Now the Tyson Fury slander drug article comes out today. Perfect timing. Oh yeah, of course. Well, you know that there is an agenda with Tyson Fury. If you don't already know, there's an agenda with Tyson Fury, and they're going to do. If Tyson Fury is anti-establishment, you see, there are people who look anti-establishment and sound anti-establishment, but actually they're two. They're on the same side. The person that you see, I don't know, because I don't know the inner workings of the Furies like that. They're honest men, but I don't know, since becoming world heavyweight champion, what the game is with that. Okay, I don't know about that dynamics of that, and I certainly do know that Klitschko, although he's world heavyweight champion, in my opinion, I think Klitschko has more of a hold on Tyson Fury than Tyson's probably letting you guys know. And I think, in my opinion, that Tyson Fury's reign as world heavyweight champion begins once he knocks Vladimir Klitschko out. That's when his reign begins. What are you talking about? Well, I think that contractually, Fury can't go anywhere else and do anything else until he knocks out Klitschko. So when he knocks out Klitschko, then we're going to know the direction of where the World Heavyweight Championship is going, or the Undisputed Championship is really going. That's my thoughts on that. Suratora says, I swear, I swear you should have your own TV show. I've learned the media side of boxing, and the analysis has been top notch. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Money makes the world go round, says Natty Burrell. Good evening, Natalie. Hope you're well. Where are you from? Trader says, do you think Bellew could deal with Hay? I think he stands a good chance at cruiserweight. Ain't sure about Bellew at heavyweight. But the thing is, if Bellew moves up to heavyweight, he's got cruiserweight speed, if that means anything. But if he makes one mistake against David Hay, overreaches with a jab or one of them sloppy overhand rights, he could find himself on the canvas. Boxing enthusiast says, as long as Fury doesn't slug it out with Joshua, I think he would win a unanimous decision against Joshua. I think he stops Joshua personally. Jim Wilson says, Fury alluded to Vlad messing with stuff he should be with. It's bigger than boxing. I know it's bigger than boxing. I keep saying that. There is something I want boxing fans to look at. And I don't want to say too much, but I do want boxing fans to check this out. It's something I've been studying for a while. Joshua, I'll tune him in. Edison, Michael. Joshua tonight showed patience and not to jump on the bandwagon, but he's improved miles since Dillian Whyte. Still would prefer him to get more experience before unifying. Agree with you there. Good evening, Edison. I agree with you. Jim will say, I agree with you about having to beat Vlad again. Definitely has a hold in him behind the scenes somehow. I agree there. Bellew out of his depth with Hay at any weight. This is Elias Amuna. Thank you very much there. Siraj Torres says, AJ or Fury. Personally, I prefer Fury of Day. Yeah, I would agree with you there. But Joshua, the recent interviews I've seen of him, I've liked him. I kind of like what he's had to say for himself. I wouldn't say he's Mr. Personality. I'd say Tyson Fury is for that personality. In terms of common sense, saying the right things, being a role model for kids, you've got to say that Anthony Joshua is that role model. Hay too fast for him and is a better boxer. Bellew is only success on the middle, inside, and Hay's too clever for that. I would agree with you there. Rest in peace, Muhammad Ali. Trade it. Yep. Check out my interview with Muhammad Ali's brother on the station on YouTube channel. Check out the recent interview I did with James Ali Bashir, who was around in the around the times of Muhammad Ali, and he did his tribute to Muhammad Ali. Great insight in the interview. Check it out. Manchester girl, good evening. Nice to see Manchester lads on. What fight would you be excited about more? Fury, Joshua, or Joshua Hay? Fury versus Joshua, without a shadow of doubt. Nobody even knows what Hay's got left as a fighter. And of course, you're a Manchester girl. Wouldn't you want a Manchester lad against a London lad? So yeah, definitely Joshua versus Fury, without a shadow of doubt. If Makub can catch Bellew, I'm sure Hay would. Yeah, I'm sure he would too. Marie, the Miss Anthro, where can I watch this live? YouTube. Eddie and Sky won't put Joshua in the ring with someone who can actually hurt them. He'll put them in with Cinderella before the likes of Ortiz. I agree with you, Zorocaster. Jim Wilson, I wouldn't say AJ is a role model when he comes to the ring with 3 roadman rappers like Gigs. Look at his thing. What roadman? Listen. I haven't heard that statement for a few weeks. Roadman. Yeah, well, he's a roadman, isn't he? I mean, suppose he's a roadman in Watford. I don't know how many roadmen there are in Watford, but he's a roadman. I mean, Joshua seems more like a Londoner than a Watford man. I don't consider Watford being London, so. But maybe Watford is London. Somebody will probably argue me and tell me Watford's London, but I don't think it's London. But yeah, I thought it was out of zones, but it made me laugh. What were you going to say about Vlad Ingram? It wasn't Vlad I was going to talk about. It was actually the Eubanks. And I do want to talk to you about the Eubanks because there's something going on there that my spider senses told me. And I want to talk to you guys about it. I want you to go back to the Nick Blackwell fight. And some people will say I'm talking crap. Some people look at it and go, why the hell did he do that? If you go back to the Nick Blackwell fight for a second and check out when Chris Eubank Sr. and Jr. are facing off against Nick Blackwell and his trainer. If somebody can pull up the tape to that, videotape to that, or somehow someone can turn around and get that on tape, look at check out Chris Eubank Sr.'s hand and check out what hand signal he's doing when he is looking at, they're facing off at one another. Do check that out for me, please. Just check that out for me. And then if you look, there's a photograph of Chris Eubank Sr. He's posing and he's sitting down and he's got that same hand signal again. Well, he's sitting down. I could just be me, but I just look at things like that and I just ask myself, well, why would you do that? Why would you put your hand on the shoulder of your son and then make that sign? I just don't understand it. So boxing is a crap sport as it is, and I'm not going to try and tell you it isn't, but it's something I think boxing fans should just take a look at. Somebody bring up the tape, have a look at it, and tell me what you think if it's there. Who do I think Joshua's next opponent should be? I think his next opponent should be either Jersey Parker. Do you know who I think? You know who I really would like Anthony Joshua to fight, but now he's left the heavyweight division? Steve Cunningham. And I'll tell you why. Steve Cunningham can box. Steve Cunningham doesn't mind getting hit. He doesn't mind getting on the inside. Cunningham will move, so he'll slip a lot of Joshua's shots and he'll get on the inside. That's who I would like to see him fight because it's movement. And he's a cruiserweight and it's movement. And that will prepare him to fight someone like David Hayes. Speed and movement. How does he deal with somebody moving around on him? That's what I like to see. If you're going to give him a testing fight, and you know that Cunningham's coming back up to heavyweight. He's older. He's a veteran. He's not that much of a threat. Still, he's got heart. So I'd like to see that. Stiverne, no. Bermain Stiverne, as far as I'm concerned, needs to fight more regularly. What's he doing? What is Bermain doing? I mean, I'm going to call Bermain and ask him. We've had Bermain Stiverne live on our show before to check that out as well. Zoros said Fury made a few anti-Zionist comments. Now the establishment is trying to finish him off. Well, that is what happens when you speak out. When you speak out and you say things that upset other people, then people are going to try and take you out. I'm going to subscribe to your channel. Good night, everyone. Good night, sir. Right. Bermain's going to retire 2-3 years max. He's almost 40 and he needs to get a move on. Right. Thurman versus Porter. Anybody who knows about the history of Bayloric TV knows that I've had a very close relationship with Keith Thurman. Recent times I haven't had that much time to talk to Keith, but I recently talked to Sean Porter's father. Gave me insight on how he used to train Keith when he was younger. Even was there. Ingram. Jim Wilson says Ingram. The Chris Eubank hand sign. Yes. Is this before they fight? Yes. Check it out. The Chris Eubank hand sign. Check it out. When it's just check it out when Eubank and Blackwell are looking at one another, come face to face. You know, before they touch gloves. Check that out and watch Chris Eubank Senior's hand. The signal, top of Eubank Jr.'s thing. Now I ask that question. I've got to ask if I see that, then I've got to ask other questions as well. Yeah. So check that out. I'm watching now, waiting to see. Check it out. Eubank. It's either on Eubank's Junior's left shoulder or right shoulder. You'll see just on that shift of the camera. You'll see the signal. Night pal. Catch you in the next live stream. Sorry. Yes. Where can I watch it? Watch fight. Thurman versus Porter. I hope you continue these analysis. I really like your talks. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, just check it out. Left or right shoulder. And check the sign out. Check the sign he throws up. And you tell me if I'm seeing things or that exactly what it is. Because I don't know if that's a normal thing to do. I mean, you normally put your hands in a normal hand position. But if you have your hand in that position, check it out yourself and see. Right. I've talked about Joshua versus Breazeale. You can check it out on YouTube. Right. Thurman versus Porter with less than an hour to go. Okay. You've got to look at, when you talk about Thurman Porter, you've got to ask yourself a few questions. Question number one. Thurman's been out of the ring a year almost. So ring rust, will it be a factor? Two, the shoulder of Keith Thurman. I've talked a lot about the Thurman shoulder, and I believe that the injury's been there. I don't think the shoulder's been right. Tonight, he needs the shoulder to be right. Three, Thurman's inability to stand in the pocket and trade. Thurman has a very bad habit now of, if you can't get you out in the first 2 rounds, get onto the back foot and skate around the ring. Don't commit, throw punches and get out. Throw punches and pot shot. Thurman's become a pot shotter anytime that he's fighting, you know, guys he can't get out of there. So it's now Keith. That's what I'm saying. I didn't say anything. You saw it there yourselves. Oh, there you go. So you're seeing it there. You know, so back to my point now with Thurman Porter. Oh, and everyone's seen it as well. Yeah, I just pointed it out. That's all. Now, back to my point now with Thurman Porter. Thurman doesn't want to stand and trade now. He wants to get on the back foot and try and make things easy for himself. Do you see the guy behind the ref? Right, there you go. Are you watching? You seeing? Are you clicking? Great. Yes. So when I think about this fight, Thurman's got to make some adjustments. These wide winging punches, guys see it, they're slipping inside of it. Good. I'm glad you all seen it now. Right, good. People are seeing it. Good. Just saying. Now, I want to go and talk about, let me think. I want to talk about this Thurman fight with Porter. We'll stick on that. Now, for Porter, I think the Brook fight is a key fight for him in terms of fighting, in terms of dealing with this fight with Thurman. I think the Brook fight has been key because that was a fight he fought a big, strong welterweight who, again, is a pot shotter. You look at Brook, he's a pot shot with the right hand. Brook's straight down the line, mostly, with the occasional uppercut, but he's straight down the line, really. And if you look at Thurman's very much wide, pot shotting. Neither Brook nor Thurman can fight off the back foot against the ropes with his back to the ropes, his chest here. So my concern is that I believe if Porter was to win this fight, Porter's got to get on the chest of Keith Thurman and stay there. That's how I believe Porter wins this fight. But if Porter stays there, enlightened. If Porter stays there and he stays and he just looks at Thurman, just looks at him all night long, Thurman wins the fight on points. But if Porter can get inside, if he get inside and work the body and work the heads, I think he's got problems there. Right. I see you all. Oh, 66. Watch 66 people are watching now. Oh, I'm starting to get very uncomfortable now. But yes, Ingram, you're a smart man. I don't know if I'm a smart man. I'm just. Well, yeah. Well, there you go. Well, anyway, you guys seem to be really caught up in that at the moment. Oh, gosh. So that's my thoughts. I think Thurman, as long as Porter gets inside and he doesn't stop, he gets inside and stays on the Thurman chest, I believe Porter will cause the upset and knock Keith Thurman out tonight. Catch it, get banged. So I think it's an interesting fight tonight. This is all getting a bit too X-Files for me. Did you see Vladimir magic trick? 24/7 boxing does some great, eye-opening stuff on the devil. In an interview with Coogan, I think. Yeah, possibly. Right. So, some other things to talk about. Liam Smith, I mentioned it on my Twitter feed. Liam Smith versus Canelo. Oh. Liam Smith is going to get anyway. And the next fight is, I'm hearing, is very interesting. Leonard Bundu against Errol Spence. Now, that is a good fight. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a good fight. What else is there to talk about? Let me think. That Eubank thing's got you guys spinning out now, isn't it? What else is there to think about? I think that's about it, really. That's about it. I will try. Daily Mirror, I've got a story of Tyson Fury and drugs. Spence wins late stoppage. Kovalev, Chilimbe. Oh, Kovalev's going to destroy Chilimbe. I think I've heard something. I'm kind of scared now. Kovalev, Chilimbe. Oh, God, he's going to knock Chilimbe out. He'd knock Chilimbe out inside to 7 rounds. Ward versus Brand. Let's just hope Ward doesn't get injured. Injure his right hand or get cut or get bruised up. Or Eubank must rely on something for him to want to fight Golovkin, to be honest. Well, I don't want to use the word sacrificial lamb, but is Junior being used as a sacrificial lamb? I mean, why else would you find? Why else would you go and fight the premier fighter on the planet? You know, if it's part of the plan, and would you sacrifice your son? Would you use your son as sacrificial lamb to secure your own future? I'm not saying, I'm just suggesting, and it's been known to happen. So those are my thoughts on those things. Be interested in what people think about it. But I'm gonna claiming tracer stories were found in his sample last year. Yeah, whatever. I don't believe it for 1 second. Ingram, if you see the official behind the ref as well as Eubank, Chris is, yeah, well, there you go. There you go. I only saw it once and it made me cringe. I was looking for him to do it tonight, but he didn't. Jason, well, look, there's a picture on Eubank Senior doing the same pose. Check it out. It's on Google at the moment. The official has his hand firmly on the ref's shoulder while Senior has. There you go. There you go. So you see the stuff here. You see the stuff. You see the stuff. It just makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes you wonder. It makes you very much wonder. You know, somebody mentioned it to me a long time. It was actually somebody that mentioned it. They did an article on it, and I read up about it. And I thought, nah, it can't be. So that's how I knew. I didn't know because I knew out of my own thinking. I knew because somebody else had read a story about this journalistic story long ago. It's in the music, of course. It's in the music industry. That is without a shadow of a doubt in the football industry. All around the world, it is. You know, it's the passport to, I guess, to some people's happiness. So, right, I'm coming to the end of this show now. We'll say, please, 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 please rate, subscribe, leave your comments, and also share the video, share it around. Tell people, check us out on Twitter, Bayloric TV Boxing, BAYLORIC TV BOXIN TV Boxing. Also, check out our Facebook page, Bayloric TV Boxing channel. Please check it out. Click a like our Facebook page. Can you get Peter Fury interview, please? Yes, I can. Broner versus Pacquiao. Yes, that's been made as well. I'll keep an eye out for your next streams, brother. Yep, there'll be a stream that'll be out. I'll stream again live after Thurman Porter. I fully expect Porter to beat Thurman, but that doesn't mean make him the best welterweight in the world. Absolutely not. It just makes him beat Keith Thurman. And I don't think Keith Thurman is the best welterweight in the world. And I'm not sure if Brook is the best welterweight in the world. I think they will have to fight one another. That's all right. Great show, Ingram. The best in boxing. Thank you very much. I see Thurman split decision. Yeah, split. If it goes to points and Thurman has done well, but I'm going Thurman. I'm going Porter by knockout. As long as Kell Brook is, well, Kell Brook. Let's see what he does against Vargas. What are you going to say about Timothy Bradley? Why is he not the best welterweight in the world? Why is Pacquiao not the best welterweight in the world? Those two guys have fought better opposition. Yeah, powers that be want Thurman to win too. Yeah, well, Thurman's chin, you know, if it's as good as his talk, then we'll see. He needs to rip body shots and come upstairs and keep on the chest. If Thurman, just joined the show, mate. Thoughts on Joshua Whyte performance? The Joshua performance tonight? Oh, it was decent performance. To wrap it up, Breazeale showed plenty of heart, showed guts. Is Joshua as big a puncher as we think he is? Don't know. A methodical performance by Anthony Joshua. So that's my thoughts on that. We all knew Joshua was going to win the fight. There was no doubt he was going to win the fight. What does he do against a guy who actually comes to fight, punch him and push him back? We have to see. We know what he did against Dillian Whyte. We saw Dillian Whyte tonight. He looked terrible. But we're going to say Dillian Whyte had an off night, or we're going to say, in my opinion, Dillian Whyte struggles against guys that can move. So those are my thoughts, Jamie. Check out the show. What's your prediction on Porter? My prediction for Porter Thurman, please. I just did it. Porter Thurman. I repeat, Porter. I'm going with Porter by knockout. I believe Porter's got to learn from the Brook fight, which means Thurman doesn't hold. He doesn't do any holding. So that's a great opportunity for Porter to get inside of Thurman and let his shots go. And he's got to keep Thurman on the back foot against the ropes. If he gets Thurman on the back foot against the ropes, Dillian Whyte is a fraud. Well, I'm not sure if he's a fraud yet. I think he's injured, so we've got to give him that one fight. But if he keeps fighting like that against the best, then he'll get found out real quickly if he's going to fight like that. But I hold out hope that Dillian Whyte actually fights better than he has done. And let's give him props for coming back. Honest opinion, Ingram. I think Joshua is an overhyped set of bollocks, slow footwork, barely any head movement, disgusting opposition, LOL. Well, that's nice. When is Spilker fighting? I don't know. He was cool, LOL, in my opinion, says Jamie White. Well, I mean, I could say those things. I think my view rating would have gone from 90 to 10 in about 5 seconds flat. But yeah, we can talk about it more, Jamie, definitely. I'll be back later for the Thurman versus Porter inquest. This has been Ingram Jones from Bayloric TV, and I am out. Take care, people. Thanks for tuning in.